Hello, my name is Stephanie Wilson. I will be submitting this video for week one's assignment. To start off, I must say the articles that were provided for this week's resources were very eye-opening for me. As someone who's been practicing as a therapist for several years now in different avenues, I have not come across this magnitude of research as far as the different perspectives that one has on addiction. The knowledge that I had until this week was one of following that of the DSM and just information provided by supervisors and educators. I did not explore addiction in research throughout my education. I had different areas of study that took focus for me, I guess I can say. And that follows into my professional career as a therapist. I really have not encountered many clients whom present with any form of addiction. It has come up a time or two during surfaces as we're building rapport or we're working on one presenting problem, and that will come up that there were prior difficulties or struggles that they had overcome or they were already working towards. But as far as having a client come to me with that presenting problem and needing that direct assistance, that experience is minimal. So hence one of the reasons why I'm taking this course is to strengthen my knowledge in the area so that I feel competent enough to help a client if they come to me with that presenting problem that they would like help in addiction. As far as personal experience, the most significant and close to my heart is that addiction of my mother. She had been using illicit and prescription drugs for over 20 years, yet I did not find out until right after I had finished college. So it is something that, while that was over 10 years ago that I found out, it's still difficult for me as well as my family, and we're working through it. My mother has been in recovery and, as far as we know, clean. With that experience under my belt, especially with a family member who is obviously extremely close to me, I hesitate to take on a client who's struggling with addiction. It is an area that I know I'm still working on, so as a professional, I want to tread lightly with the topic, as I know there may be some difficulties. My initial impression of working with addicts is that it would be a challenge for me, not only just due to my personal experience, but my mindset surrounding the topic of addiction itself. It's a question, just like the article by Dodds in 2013, is it a diagnosis? Or it's not a diagnosis, it's not a disease. That's something that I had thought about for years. So when I saw that this week as a resource for us, it was almost astonishing, maybe I can say, that professionals are out there saying and asking those same questions. To me personally, it was a question I had because I felt that claiming it as a disease or titling it as a disease or a disorder is a crutch that many can use. Well, I have a disease, so it's almost like they get a pass. They're granted to be a certain way because of that. So I really connected with that article that it's something that is manageable through psychotherapy and committed work. With that said, I also am connected to the idea that there is a certain alteration that occurs within one's brain when addiction plays a role. Now, I am not stating that I feel the addiction is caused by abnormalities in the brain or difficult functioning levels. However, to the contrary, I feel that severe substance use is causing that alteration within the brain chemistry, and that results in the difficulties of functioning in so many different aspects. So I sit and I contemplate that struggle. I guess as I read all of the articles, I sat back and thought, will I continue throughout this course to struggle with identifying with one ideal or another? Or will I really hone into one concept where I marry into that idea that addiction is merely neurological or it's behavioral? I'm not sure, and so I'll be interested to see where that goes. So my initial impressions are it is not in the scope of my competence, and I'm not sure of my exact viewpoint in the matter. So how can I be a helpful therapist if I don't have a ground to stand on as far as my belief system? My fears and worries, of course, are countertransference. I'm still working through some unresolved negative feelings, specifically related to my mother's addiction and how that affected me as her daughter. And that is number one, the biggest fear, that I would take that experience and that heartache and negative feelings into my sessions with clients. And of course, I won't do that until I feel sure that I can help a client without that overlapping or showing face in session. However, as I'm reading all of these articles, I start thinking that maybe the personal experience can actually be turned into a benefit for me, that I can utilize that to have an alternative viewpoint that some therapists are not going to be able to have merely because they haven't experienced it personally. I can use that as a strength. So they think about that saying, what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. So I can utilize that to be a stronger therapist. So my reactions to all of this information, a lot of it new, but the most the most outstanding information to me was that comparison between severe substance use and chronic illness. I had never considered the two to even remotely be similar. However, that article opened my eyes to the incredible similarities that exist. I regardless of my personal experience or my lack of professional experience in the matter, it is clear there is commonalities between the two, and that with that concept and that viewpoint on addiction, that it's an illness that needs to be treated properly and paid attention to. I really am intrigued to see where that can go. However, our current state, I don't see the United States allowing that to be included into insurance policies with all the difficulties that we have now. Yet I'm really excited to see where this research can go. I believe that continued support from professionals who believe that there is this strong connection and that can showcase that through ongoing research, the sky's the limit, and it can be brought to the attention of the government and insurance policy holders to consider it if there's significant amount of research and outcomes available. That will be very interesting to follow as a professional in the field. So I look forward to this course and the information that I will be provided and the practices that I can develop, techniques I can learn on how to help those who are suffering with addiction. I believe there is a way to help those individuals, and I look forward to knowing more about it. Thank you.